Have you ever had one of those summer days when you were a kid where all of your friends were busy and all of your toys were boring and you didn't want to watch any television shows and you just had to sit in the filth of your mind, not really knowing how to exist or how to stop the suffering? It's a little bit like what my day feels like right now. Hello to the internet, my name's Craig Montgomery and we're here today to talk about the things that make you say, who even am I? And today we're talking about what even am I doing? Recently somebody asked me what I talk about on my YouTube channel and I explained to her that it was a channel about emotional intelligence and self-care, talking about the things that make you actually question your existence. Who am I? And in response, she was like, oh, that's super interesting because frequently we're much more concentrated on what am I doing? And I agree, that is really interesting. And that's actually a big part of why I focused in on talking about these types of things for the channel and why it's a big part of interest for myself is I did notice that culturally and my peers and stuff, everybody that I was involved with, was much more interested in what they were doing, these current actions, what's my day gonna look like, versus who am I and what am I like when I move through those things. And through a combination of environmental factors and just natural inclinations, I became a lot more interested and therefore spent a lot more time thinking about the who am I part and how that plays into what I'm doing and how I actually can do those things. But I also realized that I haven't actually approached the topic of what am I doing as a question sense, the greater scheme of what am I doing with my life and my day, how am I entertaining myself, how am I building a life that I want to live. And in a way it's actually a really hard topic to cover, I guess, because it's completely personal. So aside from the platitudes of saying it's really important to do the things that fulfill you and make you happy and every other fortune cookie that you've read in your life, it's not a thing that you can really talk about in terms of moving from one person to another, because what works for somebody and what makes them happy and what makes them feel like they're being effective and adding value to the world is going to be completely different from the person standing next to them and from the person on the other side. And so why talk about it anyway? I'd say because of the general malaise and suffering that I'm experiencing today. And yes, I'm being dramatic, as always. I'm fine. I'm just feeling the effects of kind of rolling off of my schedule for a few weeks now. I did a Tough Mudder about a week and a half ago, so it kind of threw off my schedule leading up to and post, getting prepped for it and kind of recovering from the event. And so my day-to-day has been pretty different from how I've had it for the first portion of this year, the bigger part of the year. And I think my body is kind of in revolt of not really getting its needs met, I guess. Because if there's anything I've learned over the past couple years is that you can't just live in your head. Your body is alive, it needs to move, and it needs to interact with the world as much as your brain does. I mean, I honestly feel right now like I can't even string my thoughts together, which I'm pretty sure is very apparent. But I think my main meditation-ish thing with this concept would be to make sure that you are frequently asking yourself, what am I doing? And being intentional about the way that you spend your time and sectioning off that time to do those things. With the focus being how you're inserting yourself into the world, be it through creativity or community or physicality, doing something with your body. And as I discussed a couple weeks ago, that's actually a super important thing to stay conscious of because of the internet and how easy it is to keep yourself slightly, mildly entertained all of the time, which can make it very easy to just become very sedimentary and just constantly keep your brain on low life, 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 on low wavelength. I don't know. I hope that sort of makes sense. I honestly feel like I have oatmeal between my ears right now instead of a brain, so who knows. I'm sorry if it's no good, but there's only so much I can do. So be disappointed. It's okay. I'm disappointed too. I'd apologize for not having anything better to talk about, but I honestly sat down and tried to think about topics for a really long time, and I couldn't come up with anything, and this is the best I got in me. I'm gonna go now. Goodbye.